Hello Herkimer County, this is Michele Hummel with the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here today with a couple of people from the MVEDD. Yes, we're going to go over that in a minute, but it's Heather Devitt and Amanda Kyer. Welcome.
Thank you.
So MVEDD stands for Mohawk Valley Economic Development District. So you hear a lot of different acronyms in this industry. So you'll hear IDA, that's Industrial Development Agency. Oh my gosh, I'm rough today. But you also hear REDC, and that's the Regional Economic Development Council. So I just want to make sure everybody, all of our listeners, understand what those mean when we're going around saying all these things. So Heather, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. We've been working a little bit together on a few projects, and just the topic of having you guys in just really fit well into what we've been doing these last few weeks. So tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Yeah, so MVEDD, Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, was established in 1966. We're a arm of the EDA, so we're considered a private nonprofit organization.
Okay, so the EDA, just to be clear, is the United States level.
Yes.
Okay, that's the United States level of what they do here in the Mohawk
Yes.
Valley.
And we really do, we do a lot of things at MVEDD. Really, the biggest thing we do, well, not the biggest thing, but we do gap financing for businesses. We received $2.74 million from the CARES Act in 2020 that we loaned out to local businesses. We do technical assistance for municipalities, whether they're looking for help with their, and I'll promise I'll rattle off all the names, ARPA or the CFA. So ARPA is the American Rescue Plan. It's the money that all the municipalities received from the American Rescue Plan to do projects that they might not have been able to do in their municipalities. Mm-hmm. The CFA is the Consolidated Funding Application, and that's just one application for any New York State grant that's out there. You know, we do other technical assistance too. We do community walks where Amanda, Mary Kate, Mysak, and I go into the communities and we just talk to communities about what they're looking to do, things where they want it, things that they see where they're going to be in the future, and we try to match programs like, oh, there's this grant, or you might fit in with this program, whether it's a federal program, a state program, or a local program.
Okay, so if let's just use an example. How does a municipality even begin to think, maybe I should call MVEDD?
I'm actually going to turn that over to Amanda.
Amanda.
Yes, perfect. Amanda Kyer, I do the Clean Energy Communities Program. So it is a NYSERDA program, technically, New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. So it is a program geared to help municipalities with mostly clean energy upgrades, things like that. But we've really incorporated a lot of local government support into it, because some of these municipalities, for them to be able to take on projects and earn grant funding. So we have a couple places on our webpage where you can actually sign up for technical assistance. My contact information is out there. So they can sign up for our community visits. We have a couple other events going on that are going to be like monthly trainings for municipalities. So really through our website is one great spot. Email me and I can connect you with any of the other programs. If you're a municipality, I mean, there's so many opportunities. I was just with a municipality before we came over here. For like 3 hours, we applied for a grant. We set them up with a community campaign, a bunch of other stuff. So
you're a great resource, and honestly, everyone should know about you.
Yes.
My understanding is that you'll be doing a training coming up this month, I believe, in September, and it even hits on scanning, faxing, or
so we
email.
We have a committee. It's called the Local Government Education Committee, and it's really designed to give classes to local municipalities. A lot of these new people coming into elected jobs, they're new to it. They might not understand. They might not know who to go to. So this is one of the things we do. The class that you're talking about is a digital literacy class, and it's really basic information, and some of it could just be refreshers, like how do I put a signature in my email again? How do I attach a PDF to an email? What does BCC mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that means blind carbon copy, that if you're emailing somebody and using that the person receiving it won't know that you've included this other person on
Sure.
there.
Well, and honestly, when a new elected official comes in, they often bring their own team. So you're looking at maybe a new clerk. So this is really a good fit
Yeah,
for
so this-
anybody who's new to office.
Yeah, and this is our first step into it for this year. Amanda also does zoning classes, and she's got one coming up on October 26th.
Yep, October 26th, right at the MVEDD offices in Mohawk. We're going to be having energy code and enforcement training open to any of the municipalities, anyone that's just interested in it, as well as energy code officers or just code officers for the municipalities. It's for residential and commercial, so they'll learn a bunch of stuff. It's 8 hours free training. They get continued education. We feed them, so we have a lot of opportunities like that.
Yeah, that's always great. Great way to get volunteers too, is when you feed them. Absolutely. So if I'm a municipality and I don't know, we want to tear a building down, let's say. I don't know, I'm making that up because it's recently happened to one of our municipalities. Why would I think to call MVEDD? What would trigger me to say I should check with them to see if they might be a good resource?
Yeah, so we're a good resource, period. And that's really the only way I can say it.
That should be your slogan. We're a good resource, period.
Period.
I like it.
Whether you're a business or a municipality or even another nonprofit, because we have other connections throughout the Mohawk Valley. Not only that, we might hear of things that come through that you might not know of, or we might be attuned to a different program that you might not be aware of that might fit with you. So one of the things that you're talking about, and I'll get into this a little bit, is so Restore New York. New York State right now has a grant program opened. It has two phases. The first window is open now. You can apply. One of the things you can do is have buildings demolished. They pay a portion of it. They don't pay the full shot. But there's going to be a second window that opens up in October. So using that example, like, oh, I'm community X, Y, and Z. I've got this building that I know needs to come down. What kind of help can I get? Call our office. We can help you walk through the application. We can give you technical assistance on it. We don't actually write the application, but if you're hung up on a question, we can help you walk through that, or we can get you to the right person to help you with that.
That's great. So I think that your organization seems to be a liaison to everything.
Yeah.
You're a hub, right? I mean, an information hub, which is good, and it's going to increase your phone volume. I guarantee you. You heard it here, folks. It definitely will. So if I'm a business, why would I call MVEDD?
So for businesses, we do gap financing, which you still have to. We're not in lieu of a bank. We're in addition to a bank. So say you have, I'm making this up, a $500,000 project. You go to the bank will give you $400,000 for it. We can come in on that other $100,000 to give you a loan so you can complete your project. I did mention the CARES Act earlier. That was a little bit different. That was to help any businesses that were negatively impacted by COVID. Pretty much everybody.
Right.
And we had incredibly favorable interest rates on that. Like I said, we loaned out $2.74 million in 10 months. And that's $2.74 million back into the economy that wasn't there before. So businesses could keep workers on, they could purchase equipment, they could, if they needed inventory, things like that, they could use it for any kind of working capital.
And where do these dollars come from? Are they federal, state?
So it depends. So we have a couple different loan funds. We have we call it now the Small Business Development Loan Fund. That comes from the EDA. And the way these loans work is we loan out the money. When you pay it back in, we reloan that money again. So it's called a revolving loan fund or an RLF. So it's, we've gotten, like I said, this $2.74 million. We've already turned it into $3.01 million because we've gotten payments back in and we were able to reloan it.
Okay.
There are requirements with EDA money, like there has to be job creation. We also have other loan funds specifically for rural businesses, which is in the Mohawk Valley. It's every single every place with the exception of Utica and Rome. that's considered rural. We also have, it's called a JDA, it's Jobs Development Authority. It's kind of weird, but that's through New York State. It does not require any job creation.
Interesting.
I know. And then we also have a Title IX one that was given to us because when Griffiths Air Force Base closed, and that's specifically for Herkimer and Oneida counties only. So there's a lot of different, our money comes from different locations, USDA, EDA, state.
Okay. So just so everyone is clear, I mean, we always talk about Herkimer County here, hence the name, Hello Herkimer County. But where exactly do you cover? What regions?
So we cover the 6 counties in the Mohawk Valley.
Okay.
Fulton, Montgomery, Herkimer, Oneida, Otsego, and Schoharie.
And how big is your office? What's your staff?
It's going to be growing soon. Right
Good.
now we have 5 full-time and 1 part-time, right?
Yep.
Well, that's some growth anyway, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't it years ago just two people? Right. I feel that pain.
Yeah. And we actually have a new position that's going to be starting. It's for the
It's going to be a contract workforce navigator. It's coming through the Clean Energy Hub, which is another
Okay.
NYSERDA program. So we're kind of incorporating that. We're teaming up with a couple different places like CCC or CCE Oneida and OCCA. So
Okay,
Cornell
okay, I'm just gonna let's back it up for our listeners. What do those mean?
So we're working with CCE Oneida, which is
Okay.
Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
we're working with them for the Mohawk Valley region on the Clean Energy Hub, as well as OCCA, which is Otsego County Conservation Association. So we've worked with them on programs in the past. So where we, might have a small office in MVEDD, we have other people that we can work with and refer people out to, everything like that. So we're actually going to be adding through the Clean Energy Hub a bunch of different advisors and stuff like that. But the contract navigator, which will be our MVEDD position, is, I think, a great opportunity for businesses. So their role will basically be connecting contractors, businesses, everything like that with all of the clean energy incentives that are out there. So if someone was, for say, like a heating and cooling contractor, they'd be able to come to this person, sign up for all the programs, be able to offer incentives through National Grid and NYSERDA, and so they'll help walk them through the process and things like that. On the flip side, they'll also be able to help with workforce development, so any schools in the area or any BOCES programs, just connect them to all the programs that are out there. NYSERDA has a bunch of workforce stuff, such as the Clean Energy Internship, which for businesses under 100 employees, they cover 90% of an employee wage. If it's something related to clean energy, which, if you ask me, I can relate everything back to clean energy.
That's a good quality to have.
So there's a lot of great potential in that. So I think for our businesses to connect with that should be happening in the next month or so. We should have that position up and running, as well as the Clean Energy Hub.
We actually used that intern position. We hired somebody over the summer, and NYSERDA paid 90%. So, and MVEDD paid the other 10%. So if your wage is $20 an hour, we're only paying $1, $2.
That's amazing.
$2.
And who would qualify? So the position you said needs to be related to it. But if I'm a regular company, how do I know if I'm a fit? Do I just call you and ask?
Yeah, you can reach out. So for businesses, anyone that's typically a home improvement contractor or someone that does technology, there's also other opportunities. There's also so that's just for a clean energy internship. They also have a workforce program that basically allows you to have more people on staff. Like if you were, say, a big commercial building and you need someone to do maintenance and stuff, they have programs that cover that as well, because the more you maintain a building, the more energy efficient it is. So you can kind of connect in. So we have that program that's going to be coming up, and then communities themselves can participate in a community campaign, which also focuses on connecting all of these things. So as long as you get in touch with us, we can kind of get you in touch with wherever you need to be or send you information.
The information hub. I like it. So, all right. So, how do you work with brownfields? And for our listeners, I'm going to clarify a brownfield property, and you will hear this from time to time, more often lately than I've heard in the past, is a property that is complicated in terms of being able to reuse it, or rebuild it or
It's-
repurpose it for any reason. It's complicated because of pollutions. There's contaminants, like the Dufold property, for example. That's the best one I can think of because it's top of mind lately, and we've been having a lot of conversations surrounding it. So that's what a brownfield is. And how does MVEDD impact a brownfield, especially with this clean energy program that you have?
Yeah, so last year we had a Brownfields Developer Summit. It was the first one. We had it across all 6 counties, and all 6 counties participated. So if you go to our website, you can see there's a Brownfields tab across the top. We call them profile sheets that profile 18 different properties across all 6 counties. The Dufold plant is one of them, and it was really to spotlight the area that, one, yes, we do have brownfields. 2, we're primed and ready because we have all of these things going on, and 3, we want you to come and help us develop these. Brownfields, like you said, are very, I'll call them sticky, because they could be perceived as dirty or they could be contaminated. And being able to clean those up correctly to DEC or to EPA standards, you always have to have somebody coming in to help you out and to make sure that that's done. One thing, we're going to be doing the Brownfields Developer Summit again in April. Right now it's going to be at Herkimer College. John Pisak and the IDA is going to be our county hosts, I'll say.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so we're actually very excited about this. We had such a great turnout last year. We're hoping for a bigger turnout this year. But the other thing that we're doing, so every year the EPA puts out grant programs. And this year it'll come out, we're thinking it's going to get released in 3 weeks or so. It's called a NOFO, which is a Notice of Funding Opportunity. And a NOFO is just, hey, we've got grant money available, apply if you want. I guess that's the quickest way to put it. So MVEDD is actually going to be applying for a Brownfields RLF, a Brownfields Revolving Loan Fund. And what's really nice about that is that 50% of it has to be used as loans, but the other 50% can be used as grants to municipalities and to nonprofits. So if we get awarded the grant, then we'll be able to help the 6 counties in the Mohawk Valley start to really clean up more of their brownfields and get it to that point where you could redevelop it, or where it's no longer contaminated. So it's no longer that eyesore. And
Right. And so many of them are eyesores for not just a short period of time. We're talking, years and years.
Yeah.
I mean, Dufold has been like that since as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, if you think about the history of the Mohawk Valley, because of the Erie Canal and because of the Mohawk Valley, we really became that route connecting Buffalo, the west, all the way down to New York City through the Hudson, through the Erie Canal, through the Hudson River, and all of these manufacturers sprung up. Herkimer had clothing industries, Utica had knitteries, we had Remington Arms over in Ilion. Gloversville was the largest glove manufacturer. Amsterdam created rugs. And all of that pollution going into the river and into the areas, even though these manufacturers are no longer here, they left their mark. And we really are, I call it a rust belt, where you've got all of these old buildings that can't be used and have to be cleaned up first. So that's where we're hoping that this RLF, if it is awarded to us, where we can start putting our mark on that as well.
Great. So on that note, I think it's time for us to take a little bit of break. We'll be back in about 1 minute.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlepalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here with the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, MVEDD, as we like to call them. And I'm here with Heather and Amanda. So we're going to pick up our conversation, and we've been going over an awful lot of anagrams. So I want to slow everybody down a little bit. But you're really so helpful. There's so many things that you do, and I know we've been looking for, and the chamber, in a way, we've evolved. The chamber is not the old school, okay, we're a membership organization any longer. I try to explain that to everyone, and we've had to evolve. And it's not just here in the Mohawk Valley, it's really across the entire country. I belong to several professional organizations. Everyone is going through the same thing, where we need to become sort of a hub for information for our local businesses, development, whatever the case is. Now, can I offer you a loan? Absolutely not. But can I recommend you go speak to the IDA or MVEDD? Sure. It's important that we know where to turn to. So that said, I want, for our listeners, what is the difference? What's the key difference between an IDA and MVEDD? So your Economic Development District, and the IDA is industrial.
Yeah, so IDAs are normally nonprofits, and they're usually county specific. So there's one in Herkimer County, Otsego now. Montgomery County has the IDA and the Business Center. Fulton County Fulton County Center for Regional Growth. They all kind of do the same thing. And really, an IDA's focus is bringing businesses and manufacturing or industry into a county. So I'll speak specifically to Herkimer County. Like, one of the things that I know John is doing is, promoting the Dufold store. He worked very closely with the Village of Ilion and the mayor to bring in incentives for a company to want to come into that Dufold location. There's tax liens and things like that, or not tax liens, but tax incentives and things like that are attached to the building, that if somebody comes in, I'm making this up. I don't know if this is what it is, but
I make up a ton of things. Trust me.
Oh, they don't have to. They only pay half of the taxes for 10 years, or they don't pay any tax for 10 years. Things like that. And the IDA also owns property. So MVEDD, we cover a larger area. We do not own any property, and we really, we're that private nonprofit. We're an arm of the EDA. And really, our focus is the resiliency of the entire Mohawk Valley. So we work hand in hand with IDAs, and our missions and our vision are very similar, but they're just a slightly different because of the scope of our work.
That makes sense. And so if I'm a business, and let's say one of my projects is, look, I want to reface my building. It's just time, it needs to happen. Would I be able to come to you for a loan, or would you refer me to a program? Like,
either or. And
Okay.
sometimes it's both. So,
I don't think a lot of companies know that that's an option.
yeah. So again, we're gap financing, so there always has to be a bank involved in it if we're giving you a loan. But there are other programs, like New York State has, and I want to say it's called Main Street, New York, where businesses can update the facade. But then I would also refer them to Amanda if there's any NYSERDA programs or DEC programs or things like that she knows about that I might not know about. Yeah. So, we kind of work all in tangent. What can we offer from the clean energy standpoint? What can we offer from the loan standpoint? What grants are available? And where can we help is really what it is.
I do know that anytime I've called, or I've even popped in there, I always find out something I never knew before. And you're all knowledgeable in every single thing that I ask. And I I ask a ton of questions, as everyone knows. So I think that's great.
There is one other thing that I do want to talk about, and we would be remiss to not talk about it, only because it's such a big part of the Mohawk Valley, and that's agriculture.
Yes.
You know, we're not limited to just industry. We also help farms, agribusinesses, agritourism, things like that. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Amanda. She has a new AgriSmart program that she's just started, and it's really designed to help farmers and agribusinesses.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So AgriSmart is part of a community campaign that we use in the Clean Energy Communities program. So for a lot of our municipalities, if they do a community campaign, they're able to get like an action grant of $5,000. So say you were Herkimer County, you might be able to put on a community campaign, and that could be AgriSmart. So AgriSmart is kind of like a hybrid program of all the different programs that are out there. So it's just a way for us to leverage all the existing programs between municipalities, farmers, agribusinesses. There's a ton of stuff out there, and there are places where it's all connected. So we're just looking to kind of get people to sign up for these programs, and as we're out in our travels connecting everyone else, we can help connect farmers markets, food banks, New York State grown and certified. There's a bunch of stuff that's out there. It's just kind of cumbersome for people that are working full time as a farmer or like a business owner or something like that. So we just want people to be able to come to us and say, hey, is this something that might work for us? And we can do the legwork for them and be like, yeah, here's a program, sign up for this. There's rebates on commercial kitchens. There's ways to get, food to school programs. So just kind of leveraging all of that for our communities, community members, and the agribusinesses, especially in our region. So like you were talking about the REDCs, one of the priorities in the Mohawk Valley is agritourism.
Yes.
So we're really just trying to get those people connected and see what we can foster. We're in like the beginning stages as far as kind of getting like the Mohawk Valley connectivity that we've been trying at MVEDD. So that's where Heather, Mary Kate, and I have been working a lot together, even though our programs aren't really related. So we've kind of, to try to build this up and help the Mohawk Valley.
So you mentioned who would be a good candidate for something like that. I guess I should back up and ask that question first.
Yeah, so either side. So as a municipality, there's benefits. If you're, a community within Herkimer County or Oneida County or whatnot, you can reach out and say, hey, we want to promote this to our region. So Herkimer County could set on an AgriSmart campaign. But on the other side, anyone that's an agribusiness, a brewery, vegetable farmer, dairy, any livestock, anyone like that that's technically around agribusiness can reach out. We have a bunch of resources on our website. We have a bunch of different fact sheets on the programs, so that basically one of our claims to fame is we'll read 50 pages so that you don't have to. So we put a lot of fact sheets together that is one page so that you can look at it and see if it's a right fit rather than reading 50 pages of state wording. So
that's a blessing right there. That's great. I don't think that people realize how important agriculture is and how large of an industry it is, not just in our own valley, but also in New York State.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, in looking at our history, during the Revolution, we were called the breadbasket of the American Revolution. This is where the food was grown, which again is why the Mohawk River into the Hudson was so important.
Yeah, Brian Miller was on a few weeks ago, and actually Assemblyman Brian Miller. He's going to be coming back on probably in a month or two, and we're actually going to do a whole podcast about agriculture and what's happening right now. So, and we're looking forward to that, and maybe we'll tie in some sparks here for some
absolutely.
connectivity. Yeah, so it's just amazing. So. You said you had Mary Kate there, and I also want to give credit to Steve Smith, who's your executive director, and he's actually my new neighbor down the road. So, hi, Steve.
We absolutely can give props to Steve. Steve hired Amanda, myself, and Mary Kate. He just put, I'll say it, I mean, I love working with Amanda, and I love working with Mary Kate. They're just so talented that we have such a good synergy together that Steve's just like,
have fun.
You do what you want to do. And we're like, hey, Steve, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, sounds good.
It's working because I've heard more about MVEDD lately than I ever have. So whatever you're doing there is right. And that actually brings me to another question. What's your primary source of advertisement?
The website. Yeah, really, it's the website. Janine, who is our administrative director, she does a lot of email blasts for us.
Yes, I get those.
Yeah, we have the lists. We target depending on who we're targeting. So the local government education committee, we just sent out that blast that really went to municipalities. Amanda's done a lot of clean energy stuff that's gone to specifically municipalities. And right now that's really it. That and the website. If you haven't gone to the website, I think that it's well designed and that it's easy to navigate, and you can find the information that you're looking for. And if there's not the information out there, there's enough resources there that you can reach out to us. You can find our phone number there, all the emails. You can stop in the office if you want to. We love having people.
Yeah, you're right in Mohawk.
Yep.
Everyone should know that. So what's the address?
So we're at 26 West Main Street. We're right next to the Village Market.
Perfect. Great. So what else? I know you have a million programs, and I want to hear a few more. I want to hear, I want to help you spread your word, because honestly, what you guys have going on is phenomenal. Everyone is searching for a resource locally to say, who can connect all of our different agencies? Well, it already exists. It's you guys. I mean, I'm looking right at you.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed.
Right?
What haven't we talked about?
We're going to be doing another round of the CFA technical assistance.
Yep. So let's talk about that a little bit.
And the CFA comes out every year, so not everybody knows what a CFA is or who qualifies. So if you could explain that.
Yeah, so the CFA is the Consolidated Funding Application. It's all of New York State's grant programs. And what New York State has done was they've condensed it down to one application. Take that with a grain of salt. They have different questions for each one depending on what application you're applying for. But it's one portal on the web. It's a website. It's a portal page. You put in all of your information there. But what Amanda's talking about is we gave technical assistance for the round that opened in May. And right now, the CFA, there are some programs that
Go through the CFA
process, but don't end. Like the CFA was due July 29th. New York Forward and the DRI, which is Downtown Revitalization. New York Forward is a rural version of the Downtown Revitalization initiative. And this Restore New York, those are done through the CFA, but they're still opened. They don't send the applications aren't due until September and October.
Yep. And I think ESD, the Empire State Development, is a rolling one as well, which is like up to 20% for capital projects, I believe.
Okay, and to clarify for New York Forward, and these applications can sometimes be daunting, which is exactly why you offer technical assistance, which is a great thing. But for the New York Forward and the DRI, and I don't know about the others, but yes, you need to have projects listed, but they don't necessarily have to be set in stone until after you're awarded, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'd also like to mention that those are for municipalities to apply for. That's not for a business or an individual to apply for. There are some programs, and I'm actually going to let Amanda talk about some of her statistics. That one of the reasons we decided to do technical assistance for the CFA is great.
My favorite fun fact, I don't know, I bring this up way too much. So I went through all of New York State's CFA grants that they gave out last round, because I was like, what's happening in Mohawk Valley? I was trying to figure out where communities were at. So I went through and I looked at all the different regions, looked at all the different, I read through all the awarded things so I knew what might be a similar project. And what I came across that was very interesting is that New York State gave out over $1.5 million on dinosaur-themed amusement parks or this and that. Really? Which was more than most of our counties got.
Which is more than the Mohawk Valley got.
Yes. So there was more given out to dinosaur parks than, for a lot of our regions. So
I'm not even familiar with a dinosaur park around here.
There's not one. So if you want to open one, especially call us. It's what we've been, trying to do.
But the one piece to that is we don't know if it's because there were not as many applications from the Mohawk Valley, or if it's because there just wasn't awards to the Mohawk Valley. So that's one of the things that we're just not sure on.
Yep. So we're just trying to do our part by connecting people. There's a lot of the CFA grants that are out there that people might not know apply to them. That's another one where it's like 200 and something pages for the available resources, what they put all the grants in. So that's where we went through, kind of did fact sheets for each of them. So you can go right on our website. They're still up there. It's typically the same requirements each year. So there's just a bunch of grants that are out there, or that are for nonprofits, businesses, municipalities, sometimes both. So there's a lot of opportunities. So this round, we're hoping to work with a local college and get some interns to actually sit down one-on-one with municipalities and fill out these applications. So starting in January, we're hoping for that, and then get them trained up so that come May, we'll be ready to hit the ground running with, actually applications.
Yeah, and that actually is a great segue into, two of the CFAs are for comprehensive planning. One is for smart growth, and what was the other one?
The other one is for comprehensive plans with sustainability elements. So that one goes through the DEC, Department of Conservation's Climate Smart Communities, and then the other one's through the Department of State Smart Growth Comprehensive Plans. So every municipality should have a comprehensive plan. Not all of them might, and it's sometimes a heavy lift, but that's where these grants cover either 90% or 50%.
And you have to wonder if everyone even knows they're available.
Yeah, so, and this also goes back to what is a comprehensive plan? And really,
is it a master plan? Is that
it can also be called a master plan. In New York State calls them comprehensive plans, but yeah, that's interchangeable. And really, all a comprehensive plan is the municipalities, the community's vision for what they want to see for themselves. And it can include anything from zoning. It can include what they want the buildings to look like, where if they want specific. Over here is going to be the historic section, things like that. And it really is just the community's vision of itself. And it's putting it in writing and saying, hey, if you want to come to our community, we'd love to have you, but this is what we think of ourselves, and this is where we want to go.
And it's important to note that this is one of the first steps for getting ready to apply for a DRI or a New York Forward.
Yep.
is doing this. So if you're a municipality and you're listening,
Call today.
Because
reach out.
Yeah, and to your point, if a community does not have a comprehensive plan, then there's a lot of grants that they will not be able to apply for.
Mm-hmm. So is this obtaining of the master plan or the comprehensive plan, would the grant be covering it in full, or is it a match, or is it?
So
does it depend?
It depends. The two CFAs that Amanda and I are talking about, one's through the
DEC covers 50%, and then the DOS, Department of State one, covers up to 90%. And then they have flexible match, so you might be able to use in-kind services, meaning, counting your own time, or, any volunteers and stuff. So that's where we're here to help you leverage other funding. So for example, the program that I work on, the Clean Energy Communities, communities can use grants through that for a comprehensive plan, so they can leverage that as well. Or student resources, or interns. There's a lot of opportunity there. And then I did want to jump in about the importance of a comprehensive plan, especially in the Mohawk Valley. One of the big things that's a hot topic is solar. So for New York State, the way that solar law kind of works is you have to have something in your comprehensive plan to have your solar law. So a lot of communities don't realize if they don't have the comprehensive plan, it might not be enforceable. So really, the point of a solar law or something like that is to help municipalities for a certain size installation. Typically something under 200 acres would fall to the municipality. So if they're going to have a solar field go up, it would go to the municipality. So if they have that in their comprehensive plan, it needs this much clearance from everywhere else, anti-glare, native plantings, things like that. And there's a lot of things you can incorporate, especially with agricultural and solar. So the more they're prepared for that, would help. So I think that's one of our hot topics in the region.
Interesting.
So that's something we can provide assistance with as well.
So in order to have a master plan and to get ready to apply for one of these things, if you're a city, let's say, they want you to have a solar field.
Not
Is
necessarily.
that correct? Oh, okay. So.
No, it's what Amanda's saying is if you do not have a comprehensive plan, and I come in and I want to put a solar field in that's 200 acres, if you don't have it in your comprehensive plan, or you don't have a comprehensive plan, then the community can't say, well, that's not what we stand for. We don't stand for, we might do solar, but we only want to have it 100 acres.
Yep. this many setbacks. We don't want it just surrounded by a chain link fence. But that's where a municipality, if they want, they're saying what these developments are going to look like, really should have it in the comprehensive plan and have that solar law, so that's not just, oh, well, this is what, the minimum we have to do. They'd rather have it. A lot of solar providers, when they come in now and build an installation, they'll actually kind of try to work with the community. So that's where if they have something in their comp plan and they have a solar law to back it up saying, we want it to look like this, we want less noise, we want native plantings, we want, access here and there, make sure it's safe. These are all things they can do through their comp plan and their solar law.
Interesting. That really, I've never heard that before, so that's great to know.
And NYSERDA has a bunch of training and resources on it, so that's where we can actually help point them in the right direction of that too. Obviously, NYSERDA is trying to promote the use of solar, but they also want it to be municipal supported. If you're installing solar where someone's like, oh no, we don't like that, it's not going to work very well. So they're trying to make it so that these installations are good for the community.
Yeah. And if the community truly doesn't want it, they can say, look, we talked about this 10 years ago, and we said back then we didn't want this.
And
instead of starting to have that conversation when
it's happening,
when somebody comes in.
And it is in our comprehensive plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is a great tip for anyone listening who's a municipality.
Yeah.
Certainly.
That's where part of our AgriSmart kind of thing came in, because a lot of people think that agriculture and clean energy are in competition, where actually there's a bunch of resources for farmers that want clean energy, and it'll save them on their bottom line. So that's where we can make this all work.
And clean energy is good. I mean, everyone is trying to make everything better. Obviously, we're trying to save the planet to some. I'm not going to get into opinions or go that direction, but it's definitely it's a good thing to do. Like the Dufold building, for example. If there's an opportunity to put some sort of, solar on top or something, hey, that's great. Even though there's municipal power in Ilion, it's still, it's cleaner to do it that way. So on a smaller scale.
There's a lot of economic incentives. When I first got into clean energy and stuff, it was less economic. It was you'd have payback periods, but now payback periods are so low that it makes economic sense. You don't even have to care about the environmental factor to want to do it. So I'm like, this is exciting for me.
So any other programs that you two want to touch on while we're still here?
Just one other one that we do. It's another acronym, KMVB.
I knew this was going to be an acronym-heavy podcast.
So that stands for Keep Mohawk Valley Beautiful.
Yes, I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
definitely.
So we are we're an affiliate of the National Keep America Beautiful, and we actually every year we run our own Keep Mohawk Valley Beautiful campaign. We actually just sunsetted it, and we're going to be doing our wrap-up. It's going to be coming out soon. I don't want to share the date or anything, but look for an invitation.
Okay.
And it's really just a way to get into the Mohawk Valley and clean it up. I have Steve here on my shoulder saying that cigarette butts is the number one form of litter. And if you think about it, if you think about the Mohawk Valley, after, you got the snow in, June?
It's so true.
Until March, April, and then when all of that melts, all you see is this garbage that is blown around and all of this, and it's just a way to beautify the area. Other things that we do through Keep Mohawk Valley Beautiful are community gardens. I know Frankfort has an incredible community garden. I see there's one in Ilion.
Yes.
And it's just another way of making the Mohawk Valley beautiful, like we all know it is. So
yeah, that's great. I know I participated last year. We did it at the chamber and plan to do so again this year and make it even bigger. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it's a great initiative.
It's always a good event. And the other thing that we're looking to do with KMVB is to do it not necessarily do cleanups all year round, but keep it in everybody's mind all year. So it's not just spring's here, let's clean up the area. It's more of spring is here, let's clean up the area. But fall's here, let's keep cleaning up the area. Let's try something. Let's do something different. Let's try another program.
Right. And I've learned after participating in the program that you do start, after you've done the work, you really do think about it all year. So
yeah,
it's really beneficial
in
a lot of ways.
We did a cleanup. It was amazing. We ended up with 18 bags of garbage, a tire, some fencing, weird stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to make sure you have those sticks, those pickup sticks. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you both for coming so much. This is great. I definitely plan on having you on here again at some point, and we can go over more information. Maybe bring Steve on as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to touch base with. There's so much going on in the month of September that get your pencils out because I really need to let you know. So September 10th is the Garlic Festival here in Little Falls. And let's see, on September 11th is Inspire the Arts Musical Festival in Dolgeville. That goes from 11 to 7. There's also the Veterans and First Responders free picnic at the Marine Corps League in Ilion, which takes place from 12 to 3. We also have the Bluegrass Festival coming up here in Little Falls at Canal Place on Saturday, September 17th. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Cheese Festival. That is my purpose for living, I think. The Cheese Festival is October 1st. It begins at 11 o'clock. And also, Frankfurt is having their Harbor Festival coming up on September the 24th. So there's really a lot of things going on. Today is a gorgeous day. There's going to be more of that for this month. I'm certain of it. I'm done with this humidity, and I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of it. As always, I'd like to tell you, if you have any questions about this episode or future episodes, any ideas at all, please call us at the Chamber at Herkimer. Our email address is mhummel@Herkimer County Chamber, and our number is 315-866-7820.